Well, the Heisman has already been decided. Joe Burrow going to win in one of the biggest landslides in Heisman history, but we now know that the guys are going to be sitting next to him in New York. All four in the college football playoff, two on the same team with Justin Fields and Chase Young out of Ohio State. They're going along with Oklahoma's Jalen Hurts in his one and only season at Oklahoma after transferring in from Alabama. The only playoff team without a Heisman finalist is a team that most of our experts are picking to win the whole thing for a second straight year, the Clemson Tigers. We have a very own live in-person Heisman voter here, Dennis Dodd, and he brought his ballot with him. Dennis, I know you only get to pick three as a Heisman voter. You go first, second, and third. What's your ballot look like?
I had Burrow first, I had Justin Fields second, and in a bit of an upset, I had J.K. Dobbins third because he had come on late. He had, I think, 583 yards in his last three games, 100 carries, averaging 33. He was really the heart and soul of that offense. And I eliminated Chase Young just because he was skunked against Michigan, no tackles, and wasn't much of a factor. What was a factor in the second half against Wisconsin? But look, I think the Heisman Trust got it right. The fact that they're going four deep, and we all know Burrow's going to win in a landslide, tells me there's some, he got a big chunk of the votes because they don't throw travel money around there for these guys. It's usually only three. It means that Chase Young got representative part of the vote.
I think some people are surprised that Jonathan Taylor didn't get an invite from Wisconsin.
No, I think if it's going to be an invite, it would have been a J.K. Dobbins because of late. The fact that Ohio State beat them twice, and he's more of a career guy. If he goes crazy in the bowl game, he needs 325 yards to become the NCAA's all-time leading rusher in a career. So it was more a career thing for him. J.K. Dobbins was better. He was the number 2 rusher all time in a single season in the Big Ten.
Well, someone we don't see there, of course, because he was injured. He went last year, was a Heisman runner-up last year, is Tua, but, I mean, we couldn't have expected him to go.
No, only played 9 games, and I think if he had finished the season, he'd definitely be another finalist as he was last year, and maybe win the darn thing, as good as he was. But, that's something else to talk about. He may be back.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that for a second here. We heard from him at the end of last week, I believe, and he said, you know what, I haven't made a decision. I need to talk to my family, yada, yada, yada. Do you have any inkling here, or even what you think he should do?
The fact that he talked about coming back without, instead of just poo-pooing it, leads me to think it's a possibility. Then I ran across a piece of information. At the Iron Bowl, Alabama wanted to bring him to sit on the sidelines, and they were seeking some sort of waiver from the SEC for the travel squad. You only bring 70 on the road. And the SEC said, no, if you bring him, you have to take one less active player. And they did. They traveled 69.
Just to have him as inspiration.
And they've got 12 juniors who are going to be considered high draftable players by the NFL. Tua is kind of the ringleader of that group. I think Nick wants to keep them together and keep as many as he can. So they're going down the line with him.
Interesting.
That would certainly be something if he comes back for another season at Alabama. That would put him in the same draft class, presumably, as Trevor Lawrence at Clemson.